speaking of legends, obviously Eazy-E, one of the biggest legends the game has ever seen. Without him, many things would not be possible. What was your relationship like with Eazy? Can you tell us about how he was as a person and as a friend to you?
You know, it's so funny because you can get caught up in this business and saying that people are your friends, not realizing that you may have one or two, and just because you're hanging out with 15 or 20. Eazy was somebody that I really would call a friend. Some of the things that we shared, and I could name you probably 500 people that would honestly say that Eazy was a friend, because Eazy had this thing. You know, he was just subtle. He had this little character thing. I remember when I was going through a divorce, and Eazy comes over and he starts laughing at me, and I'm like, I'm sitting there crying, and Eazy, I don't know, can we curse on this show?
Yeah, you can say motherfuck, shit, whatever the 7 words George Carlin said, you can say them all.
So Eazy comes in laughing at me, and he's like, man, what the fuck are you doing crying over a bitch? Man, get the fuck out. There's so many bitches out here. What are you doing crying over a bitch, man? I'm like, but I love her, Eazy, and Eazy like, man, hold on. And he got like some girl on. I'm over here with Greg Mack. He's over here crying. His wife left him. Let's go cheer him up. And so he, me and him and a couple of girls, we went out and partied. And Eazy gave me, I think it was like $10,000 or something.
Wow.
And I wasn't working in a programming position. I want to make that clear. It wasn't payola. He just said, man, I want you to take this and just go get you something, man. Get your mind off that shit. If I see you crying again, I don't even want to be your friend no more. He just thought that was terrible, that any man would cry over a woman with all these women out there. And that was just the kind of guy he was with everybody. He was not what you thought. He would always do things helping kids in the community, getting buses, taking them to Magic Mountain, buying them clothes, paying bills, but he would never talk about it. He was always doing stuff like that. But at the same time, I've also seen him, where a man was beating his wife, and I said, Eazy, let's go, help these people. And Eazy starts laughing again, and he's like, beat her ass. Let them fight. And I'm sitting here like, whoa. And so Eazy was also on the edge, He just had many different sides to him, but knowing him like I know him, I know that the one thing that fascinated him the most in life was when he got to go to the President Bush dinner. That really fascinated him. It intrigued him a lot.
And speaking of your relationship with Eazy, you worked with him on the Ruthless radio show, correct?
Well, what had happened with that was, and I want to correct the record on that because there's so many things being said, documentaries, and blah blah blah. Eazy and I he was going to be the first rapper to ever buy a radio station, so we were working on that. We had set up a company. All he was doing, he was waiting until he put out Bone Thugs and Harmony. And he says, Greg, once we put that out, I want to have everything ready, and let's go get the station. We were getting ready to buy a radio station in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I said, well, Eazy, you know what? While we're putting all this together, I said, let's go do a radio show, man. Let's just do a radio show. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. Let's just figure it out, and let's go do something. And so anyway, I went and talked with a friend of mine who was working at the Beat at that time. And I said, hey, dude, set us up a meeting with the PD over there, and let's go see if we can get a show going. So we went over and talked to him, and I told him what, I said, we just want to do a show. We want to highlight some music that Ruthless is coming out. Me and Eazy will host it, and we're going to get a couple of DJs to mix. And so they were like, oh, okay, well, why don't y'all keep putting it together and then get back to us? And so we went and got some DJs. I went and asked my DJs that used to work for me, Tony G and Julio G. And so they just simply said, man, you know, after K-Day, we just kind of tired of radio. We just want to focus on our, you know, our music thing. And I said, come on, man, we just want to focus on our music. And I said, look, here's what we'll do. I said, Eazy, sign them up to start producing some stuff. And so, therefore, you are able to still do your music, which he did, and then you guys come and mix for us. And so that's how it happened. So we all started doing the show, and we decided we were going to call it the Ruthless Radio Show. After the first show, the program director of the station came to me and he said, Greg, you know, we love the show. We want to continue doing the show, but we don't want you on the show. And I said, you don't want me on the show? And they said, well, you don't sound street enough. You know, you sound a bit too white. You know, we want that street sound. And I mean, and so I said, you mean like saying yo, 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 like that? I said, yeah, I guess it is hard for me to do. And so Eazy told them point blank, he said, look, if Greg's not on the show, we're just not going to do the show. And so I pulled Eazy aside and I said, look here, man, you know, go ahead and do the show. It's not that serious. I'm not dying to be back on the radio, so just go do the show. And so anyway, the show continued. And that's how the show got started.